This
appeal
conference will now be recorded.
to a hearing officer, and so far the city has not lost any of the citations issued. It's pretty tough to get a citation. It's basically after quite a bit of noticing and trying to work with people that they finally receive a citation. One of the last steps we do as far as trying to obtain voluntary compliance is office conferences. With COVID-19 restrictions, most of our office conferences have been deferred, or we've had to hold them out in the parking lot if we actually didn't need to meet with somebody. But that's an attempt to meet with people to gain voluntary compliance before taking additional enforcement action. Additional enforcement action may be additional citations, criminal prosecution, civil injunction, an abatement order through the court. The next slide shows code enforcement cases opened and closed for each month. As you can see, we hit the ground running March, April. We opened up over 1,200 cases initially, and now we're opening probably about 300 a month at the current pace. Obviously, the first couple months we opened a lot more because we were heavily proactive trying to identify every property that was in violation. If you look at how cases are reported, for the most part, 61% are by code enforcement staff. You see another 13% initiated by building and safety, public works, other staff. So almost a little over 3/4 of all the cases reported in the city for code enforcement are actually initiated by city staff and the different divisions that work here. When you look at what type cases we handle, for the most part, we're handling public nuisance type cases, property maintenance. The building and safety type cases are going to be your garage conversions, illegal additions. Vehicles will be abandoned vehicles on private property, not the street. PD handles the street. We handle private property. And then the other miscellaneous ones, including bandit trash haulers, some business license issues, some zoning violations. When you look at the actual violations that we addressed in 6 months, we addressed 4,560 violations. Again, primarily property maintenance, vegetation, trash and debris, the maintenance of structures. 507 inoperable vehicles were taken care of in the city. Again, this is all just in the first 6 months of our operation. If you look at the action counts, these are with our Go Request and our government outreach software program, we're able to track officers' activity. In the first 6 months, we did 4,923 property inspections. We observed additional 2,800 properties where we identified violations. The phone calls and emails, that 1824, those are numbers that are significant to the cases, and no way does it quantify the number of calls my staff makes or receives on a daily basis. You can see from the letters, we've issued over 1,000 notices of violation, over 1,600 courtesy notices, which is the initial notice to identify violations, 377 citations. And then for people that comply quickly, we do send a thank you letter to those. We let them know we appreciate that they responded to our request to resolve whatever issue we had identified, and we sent 1,191 of those letters in just the first months. So in first 6 months of operation, our code enforcement officers have mailed over 5,000 letters to residents and business owners, which is quite a lot of letters considering there's no full-time employees. These are just part-time staff working 1 or 2 days a week. You know, as we have issued notices and have been proactive, you'll start to see improvements in the areas we've been able to address. This picture depicts behind a commercial business on Glendora that obviously was a dumping ground. One of the keys to preventing the dumping is to put locks on the dumpsters. So the second photo, you can see that Athens and the property owner have secured that dumpster. One of the most common things we found when we started an initial proactive survey of the city was people's front lawns and open areas not being maintained. Here's a before and after of a residential property. This is an example of a vehicle that's not permitted in a residential zone. Obviously, this is a construction type disconnected trailer that needed to be removed. In this case, the front lawn had kind of been overgrown by all kinds of vegetation. We work with the property owner. You can see the second photo where they've cleared the property, and now on this property it has a nice green lawn surrounding the shrubs and trees that were still there. So as we move forward with our code enforcement division, we're working on increasing the training and development of our officers. We're working in collaboration with the business community, residential community to address concerns. We're really working to preserve the property values of residential and commercial properties throughout the city, and just improve the quality of life for the residents and the business community for the city. If anybody has any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them.
Any questions of Marlon?
I just have a comment. This is Paul. I've worked with Marlon on a couple of code enforcement violations and resolved very quickly. What is interesting to me is how good of a job they're doing with the staff that they have to work with. So compliments to you, Marlon.
Thank you very much. I'll pass it on to my staff. They'll appreciate the thank you. We get very few of those.
Any other questions?
Doing a good job.
Yeah, I do have a question, Marlon. When you see a property that's got a bad front lawn or whatever you're talking about, when you send the notice that if it's a rental house, I know I can tell you firsthand, you find the property owner, but do you send something to the tenant in that house as well?
That's a very good question. So the way the system's set up and the way I operate is we use the assessor's information for the property data. So the letter always goes to the property owner, but a copy also always goes to the occupant tenant of the property. Especially if we know the property owner's off-site for sure, and in most cases it is going to the tenant at all times, because you never know if it's going to be a family member or a rental. A lot of times the property owner uses that address even though he does not live there. So to make sure that everybody's notified, we do send to both.
Okay, so basically, to be safe, I should probably go knock on their front door when I get one, right? In case they don't get one.
If everybody should get one, the property owner gets one for sure, and the tenant should also get one.
They should get one. Okay, that's fine.
That's
okay,
correct.
Very good. Very good presentation. Any more questions from Marlon?
Marlon, how do you deal with a situation in which there is a notice of violation that's sent out that requires immediate correction, and you're not able to otherwise get in contact with the property owner if it's a rental? So how do you address that in a proactive manner?
Well, if the property owner is not on site, we do make contact. We do door knocks. We make contact with responsible party at the location, which is a tenant, a relative. In addition to that, what happens is we have various search engines and systems where we can track people down, like a skip trace search. So we'll find the property owner at other locations and contact them that way. But if it's something immediate that we need to get to, let's say we get a report of a garage conversion, kids living in a garage, we will door knock the property and do an inspection at that time prior, even at the same time that we're sending a written notice.
Okay, very good. Any more questions for Marlon? Okay, seeing none. Thank you, Marlon. Excellent presentation. Thank you very much.
Marlon, this is Mike Cress. Hey, Marlon, this is Mike Cressup. Thank you very much for taking the time and coming out and giving us that presentation.
Anytime. Thanks, Mike.
Have a good evening.
Have a good one.
All right, we'll move on to number 3, which is the facility usage reports for the month of March through August. I have a couple comments on them. Anybody else have comments on them? I just want to everybody to realize how busy the city is. I looked on there. One thing is the graffiti number was 1,369 for that 6 month period. 1,369. Mike, do we do that in-house, or we have help with it, or what?
We do that in-house, and just so you know, we have one employee. We have one employee that does that, and he works a normal work week, and he does get about 5 hours a week of overtime. But he does that. That's one person. He's doing a great job, and he gets out to a lot of things. You know,
Right.
we'll supplement if we know we have a heavy traffic area or have a big issue. We'll put another man on it. But for the most part, it's a one-man crew.
Oh, that's crazy. I mean, that's the exact number, 1,369. I couldn't believe it'd ever be that high, but it's right there in black and white. The second thing is a nutrition program. Unbelievable how many you do every month. It's unbelievable, but it's a good job. And the last thing is the work orders for the city. Even though we got short crew, I mean they're in the hundreds every month. It's amazing. So credit to everybody involved.
Thank you. We'll pass it along to the staff.
Very good. All right, we'll go ahead and move on to number 4, which is the parks with the most needed updated playground equipment discussion. You want to give any report on that, Mike, or?
Well, obviously, yeah, just, you know, a little bit of background. Obviously, the last playground we did is the Shadow Oak playground, where we had the November meeting. Parks need assessment meeting in November of 2017. We used that to do the park at Shadow Oak. That project is out to bid. We were hoping to take it to council December 15th, but unfortunately, it's going to be pushed till the beginning of January. But that's a project that should be done in the next 6 months. You know, we're anticipating 3 months after award of bid, but give ourselves a little bit extra time. So the ad hoc committee did a great job on selecting that, and we're moving forward. We're looking to the next project. I do apologize for getting the sites out to you a little bit late, but we sent out to all commissioners the 5 parks that we thought needed the most work. Deb was nice enough to go take pictures for us all. Thank you, Deb, for all your hard work on that. And don't know if we want to go through these one by one, or if somebody has a suggestion and we go from there. But ultimately, the goal is that we decide on a site, and then if the commission can agree on the site, we'll start working on the community outreach that we need to do to use our Measure A funding for the project. So from these sites, like I said, Dave, I'm not sure how you want to move forward. We can go site by site, or if somebody wants to make a suggestion.
Well, actually, I looked at all of them except Ulster Park's been locked up, so you can't get in there. But I remember it from a few months back. It's pretty bad, but I kind of agree with all the rest of them. Friendship Park, he looked maybe the worst of the whole bunch. I was amazing how good Goodrich Park looked, and it's a huge area there, and we could certainly put more in there than what we got. But I don't know how that's going to work out. But the park was very neat. Friendship Park looked a little rough around the edges with the baseball diamond there and everything. Do we take care of that diamond, or is that outsourced?
Well, we rent that park out. We have no league there, so there's most of our parks have a league that maintain the park. That there is no league at that park any longer, so we rent it out, and the renters usually take care of it. With COVID, we have not had as much rentals as usual. We've just started renting again, and not sure where the county's going to go. So don't know if we're going to keep doing that or what exactly is going to happen. But no, it's not getting regular maintenance, to answer your question.
Okay. So in that case, I would move it up, and I thought we reverse it with number 3. But I agree with the numbers the way you have them lined up right now.
No.
Any other comments?
Are you suggesting that we start with Friendship Park then?
No. I just said that Friendship Park looked a little rough around the edges, but Mike just answers my question. They outsourced the diamond and everything there, so
okay.
I wouldn't move it. I'll leave it right where it is.
Okay, sounds good.
I'm sorry, Nick. Go ahead.
No, it's Al Williams.
I'm sorry, Alfred. I'm sorry. Yeah, go ahead, sir.
Yeah. Yeah, I had questions on that. I was wondering why Shadow Oak got left out, but now you've answered my question. But I think it was Dave brought up something about the baseball fields and stuff. Who's responsible for keeping those up?
It just depends. Every park is different. We used to have leagues in all of our parks, but with Little League contracting and things changing, Shadow Oak and Friendship Park no longer have leagues that use the fields. But like West Covina American, West Covina Nationals at Del Norte, so Cortez and Del Norte have leagues that take care of it. Palmview has a league that takes care of it. It just depends on the park. But Shadow Oak and Friendship no longer have leagues.
Uh, well, that's why I was bringing up the questions. Every Saturday and Sunday, those parks are used 24, almost. I thought I'd say 24 hours a day, but they're used for quite a bit. And if you go down and look at them, they're in terrible shape.
To
Yeah,
clarify, Alfred, we do rent the parks to users, but they
uh,
are not required to maintain the parks. If they are going to use the fields, they usually do their own maintenance. We tell them when we rent them that we're not maintaining them, but they are rented. And LA County has allowed practices and inter squad scrimmages, so we've been renting the fields as of late. Not sure how that's going to move forward, but the fields have been rented and are used.
yeah, but they're in constant use every weekend. And what I notice is they do have problems, which if somebody is injured there, the city could get sued because they have some potholes that are pretty deep, and also some of the lower field down there. If teams have been playing down there, and they have one large hole where irrigation system is broke. It's got about a foot and a half hole, foot and a half wide by a foot and a half deep hole. And if
To be
somebody
clear,
was to trip in that, there's going to be I'm pretty sure, a lawsuit.
you're talking about the lower plateau at Shadow Oak, correct?
Both lower and upper. Well, the baseball field is on the upper, and the lower one also has these problems with irrigation problem.
Obviously, we care about our children's safety and our user safety. To be clear, the renters are responsible for the field and everything at that time. We require insurance from the renters when they rent the field, and part of that is them maintaining and making sure that's safe. So the field itself doesn't fall on us, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to look into it. I just want to make that clear. But as far as the lower plateau, that would be us. So I will get somebody out there and make sure we address it right away, and we will
Yeah,
talk to our users and make sure that the infields and stuff are in playable condition.
it looks like now the maintenance people, because I was wondering if that was also a responsibility of our maintenance group. Seems like in the past, Azteca, I think it was responsible, or they took responsibility of doing that. Right now, it seems that no one is doing it. They put a trash can. The hole has gotten so big, they put a trash can over it. I'll put it that way, but
Okay,
nobody's fixed it.
Alfred, I will address that issue, and I want you to know you can always reach out to us at any time with that stuff. And don't want to sidetrack the meeting right now, but definitely we will address it. That is my responsibility to deal with. So I always have an open line of communication. You can always reach out to me on that.
Oh, okay, all right.
What I was going to state, obviously, if the ad hoc committee wants to speak on it and stuff, Gulfstream Park. When we were doing our presentations, there were some different types of playgrounds and things that were shown to us, things with like fossils and things of that nature. And so we thought that with Gulfstream and the needs it has up there, and just the usage that might be something that comes into play there. But don't know if any of the ad hoc committee want to speak up on that or anything else, but that's why we just kind of felt, we felt Gulfstream was a good place to start for the next playground.
Right. Actually, as far as the ones I looked at, basically the equipment all looks about maybe the same age or about the same shape. And the only thing else I could figure out is how to line them up and how much use they get. But that really doesn't work because you really don't know how much use each one gets a day. So it's kind of hard to.
That is true. I mean, very true.
Yeah. So I think, in my mind, I think I'm satisfied the way you got them lined up here right now.
Does anybody want to make a recommendation?
Mike, this is Commissioner Lewis. Just want to ask a quick question specifically about Gulfster and usage. It's my understanding as of now that park is effectively closed. Is that not correct?
Well, we're trying to deal. We have an issue. The fire took out electrical there.
Right.
So we're trying to get that resolved because we have no power to the bathrooms and things, no lights and things of that nature. So we're trying to get that handled. But once that's handled, we are going to open it up. After this last rain, we did not have any erosion issues, so that's good. There are groups reaching out that want to do some repair up there. So technically, once we get the power taken care of, it will be open.
So
I think that's the best choice right now.
What's that?
I think that Glacier, I think that's the best choice right now.
Gulfster?
That gets, you can't, am I kind of coming and going, my voice?
Oh, you're fine. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Glacier, I think we should, I remember those fossils and everything. I think because of the station we have up there with the animals and the fossils, I think this the perfect park to start with.
All right. If we're in agreement, that's where we'll start community outreach. So if somebody can make a motion and we go, that's where we'll go next.
Do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
All right.
That we start
Motion by Gail.
and that we start with this park. I think it's perfect.
Okay. And do we have a second to that motion?
I second it. Can you hear me? This is Betty.
Oh, hi,
Hello?
Betty. Yes. We
Yeah,
just heard you.
I second it. I have a question though.
All right. Go ahead.
Yes, I have a question. On the Gallister Park, how soon will you be starting the construction there?
Well, there is a process. I mean, we don't know exactly how the county is going to make us do our community outreach due to the pandemic. So we're going to find that out. To be perfectly honest, we have a couple other things that we want to do in front of that. We're doing some work at the dog park, and we're doing some pouring place at some of our other playgrounds. So realistically, I would hope to have this done by the end of next year. So we'd have Shadow Oak done hopefully by June, July, and then this would be completed hopefully somewhere in the November, December range.
And it
That's
usually
of next
takes
year?
Yes, that's correct. We do anticipate, and then to be clear, we do anticipate the process to be faster because on the first playground, we were trying to do some different things. We were trying to sole source, finding out what we could do, how we could bid it, and how we could handle certain things. And we've kind of worked through that with the city attorneys now. And moving forward, we have a process in place. So I do anticipate this moving a lot quicker than Shadow Oak did.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
Okay, we do have a motion by Gail, a second by Betty to leave the numbers.
I just want to make a quick comment if I can.
Go ahead, sure, go ahead.
Sure.
So, I agree that Gulfster certainly needs a new playground. I think that's abundantly clear from the pictures here. I'll just say I'm a bit disappointed that the money that is being spent on Gulfster Park is not oriented toward the wilderness park aspect of it, and that would pertain to hiking trails and the like. And for that reason, I can't support spending money on Gulfster Park when essentially very few people go up there and utilize this playground equipment. I just think it's something that I definitely want to do, would like to do. I mean, Aroma Parquet is literally right around the corner. From my seat, I think it's a misplaced priority, and for that reason, I'll be voting no.
Nick, is that you that spoke? Nick?
The reason why I mentioned it is I've been up there several times with my granddaughter, and it's always busy. So I assumed that they get quite a few kids up there using that park. I guess I'm wrong.
You know, Nick, the other thing that I'd like to say is that I really hope that if this is decided and it does move forward, I'm really hoping that the ad hoc committee can come to something that is an improvement to the park there and plays into the nature center aspect. Obviously, we're trying to kill two birds with one stone. We're trying to get rid of a liability, but all along with some of the designs we saw before and some of the possibilities, I definitely think there are things that can add to that park and make it more of a destination. So not trying to sway your vote one way or another, but obviously when this was discussed with the ad hoc committee, that is the hope to, moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
Can I make a comment?
I understand that, Mike.
Hello?
Yes.
Yeah, that's Paul.
Paul.
I agree with Commissioner Nick, and the reason I do is I look at the other parks. I look at Galster, Cortez, Friendship. I would rather see our efforts if the budget basically for Galster is a year from December. That's basically 14 months. I candidly would rather see us go to some of the other parks that have definitely more participation from our citizens. Like Nick, I would be voting probably no on that.
And Paul, just to be clear, no matter what park we do, that's probably the time frame.
Okay.
Just to be clear.
Okay, Mike, let me just ask you a question. Do you see these parks on a weekly basis, I'm sure. Do you see Cortez, Ginrich's, Friendship, Woodgrove? Do you see any of these parks that, and I don't want to put you on the spot, but do you see any of these other parks that would probably lend itself to immediate attention, or at least more of immediate attention than any other park?
No, I'm going to be honest with you. I think whatever park you choose, they all need it. They're these are old playgrounds that need a lot of attention, and wherever you go, I don't think you're making a wrong choice. To Commissioner Lewis's point, I off the top of my head, I cannot tell you that Galster gets more usage than Cortez per se, or whatever the case may be. So we leave that to the commission. Obviously, when we originally talked, it's like the point I stated before, the goal is to make Galster a destination and make our parks used. And we just felt that was a place that, we could do something really unique and do that. But as far as what, they all need attention. So there is no wrong pick on this.
Mike, is the money available? Would it lend itself to hiking trails?
That is a possibility. It all comes down to we do community outreach. I mean, there's a community outreach aspect of this. So we're deciding where we want to go, but then we're going to have to do the community outreach. But if we wanted to do community outreach for trails, we could do that. We just had the Conservation Corps redo the trails there. And then the other thing, as a group, we had kind of decided that we knew our playgrounds were in need of attention, and this was a way not only for us to replace our playgrounds, but also maintain them. So, if we're going to change course, we can do that. But I thought as a group we discussed staying on the course with the playgrounds.
Right. Well, like I said, it's been locked up in my head. I figured it's going to be number one because of the fire and everything, and put it all back together at one time. That's what my opinion was. So we do have a motion. Should we take a vote on it? Anybody else want to say anything?
This is Elway. I guess I want to make a slight comment. I was looking at I haven't actually been down and looked at each one of the parks, but they all seem to have the same equipment and the same problem. And this one seems, Gallister seems to be in the worst condition. So to me, it looks like I would support going along with starting with Gallister.
All right. Any other comments before we take a vote here? Okay, can we have a roll call, please?
The roll call is to start at Galveston.
For the motion.
Well, the roll call was the motion was made to leave it lined up like they have it right now. The first, the 5.
Okay.
Motion by Gail and second by Carol. By Betty, excuse me. We do
Roll
need
call.
a roll call,
Ready
yes.
for Commissioner Blackburn,
No.
Commissioner Din, Commissioner Mason,
Yes.
Commissioner Molnar,
Yes.
Commissioner Velez. She said yes. Commissioner Williams,
Yes.
Commissioner Zaklama, Chair Stewart,
Yes.
Vice Chair Lewis.
No.
So the vote was, 5-2?
5-2, correct.
5-2. Okay, the motion passed 5-2. All right, do we have any, next up would be ad hoc committee reports. Anybody have anything to say about what they've done, where they've been?
We all can't wait till we get out and about again. Can't wait
Yeah.
to see all your smiling faces.
You can say that for sure. Sure.
Absolutely.
Okay, what about commissioners' reports? Awful quiet.
Yeah.
Dave,
Yes.
this is Gail Mason, and I'm on my way to church. Thank you for the
Okay.
meeting.
Good luck.
Thanks, Bill.
Okay,
Say a prayer for,
bye.
Y'all be
Okay,
safe.
bye, everybody.
Gail.
say a prayer for all.
Okay,
Bye, Gail.
bye.
Okay, we had no commissioners' reports. Do we have any items that we should agendize? Next meeting is January 12th.
We do
Yeah,
owe you some information. We have the traffic committee. We're going to bring back the process on the traffic committee. I apologize for not being able to get it ready for this meeting, but just got a little bit behind. So we'll have that for you at the next meeting. And I don't think there was anything else. But we will have that.
Okay, very good.
Hey, Mike, there were I think two things that were agendized at the prior meeting. One was by Commissioner Zaklama, and then one was by me. I think Commissioner Zaklama had requested something regarding senior services and sort of a survey of the different organizations and services that they provide. And then there was, and then my question related to the impacts of COVID-19 on our playground planning, and obviously we discussed moving forward with Gulfster and everything, but obviously I'm sure we're all hopeful that this new purported vaccine that's 90% effective will change the world, but obviously want to see that if there needs to be a backup plan to the extent possible, we're forward thinking on that front. Obviously hoping for the best on that, but my concern is that playgrounds may be closed for the foreseeable future, regardless, because it's going to take some time for vaccine distribution, even assuming best case scenario goes through, and who knows beyond that.
Yep, understood. And are you aware that playgrounds are open now?
Well, yes, I am aware of that. I'm merely stating that with the rise in the trajectory of COVID infections, it's very possible that does change, and it appears there will be a change in the administration, and obviously there may be further changes and potentially further lockdowns as a result. So I'm really bringing that up just because it is a possibility. I certainly hope that that does not occur, but I certainly want to be don't want us to necessarily be caught flat-footed in the event that that does occur.
Agreed. And, just to let you know now, at this point, we follow pretty much the LA County Department of Health. We do not have our own Department of Health here in West Covina, so we kind of have to defer to that. To this point, we have our contractors parks contractor checking our playground, cleaning anything that needs to be done. It is not disinfected on a daily basis, but that might be a route we need to go. And I think, that's what the question you're asking is about. How are we going to handle this moving forward? So we will definitely work on that and come back with something on the next meeting.
Sounds good.
And thank you for reminding about Dr. Zach Lama's request. Frankly, I apologize. I did not remember that. The plan will be to have Susie come make a presentation as well, and we'll definitely look into what other centers are doing also.
Sounds good.
Right. And too, Mike, as far as what we just voted on, you just said it's going to be like 14 months in the future before we do anything, right?
That is correct.
Year or two. So things could change in the meantime, hopefully for the better. We'll find out.
Well, we've made that call, but we could go do the community outreach and the community could say something completely different. They could completely, we're back to the drawing board. But before we went to the community, we wanted to make sure we had the commission on board. So that's the purpose of that. But yes, things can change.
That'd be good. Very good. Anything else? Thank Deborah for the upcoming events. She does a great job on that. Thank you, Mike. You guys are busy. You do a great job for us. We certainly appreciate it.
Want to let you know we did put some stuff out about an upcoming holiday event at the Senior Center. It was going to be an express drive-through event, but we have changed that. It's actually going to be a drive-in movie, and it's going to be a Polar Express. I'm not sure if you're all aware, but the event at the mall was very, very successful, but it caused a lot of traffic control issues. There was just more people there than were anticipated. So due to that, we do not want to make the same mistake. So we kind of changed the event, and we are going to do a pre-registration. So the drive-through Santa event at the Senior Center will not be a drive-through event. It will actually be a pre-register drive-in movie that you can watch Polar Express.
All right. Same date?
Same
December
date.
12th?
Yep, same date and times.
Okay, for 5 to 8. Okay. All right. Do we have anything else anybody like to mention? If not, I'll accept the motion for adjournment.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Well, thank you all for your time. And hopefully, I really do hope that we are meeting in person soon.
Absolutely.
I love that. Everybody have a great day. Stay safe. Thank you very much.
You too.
Night, everyone.
Bye.
All right, thank
Bye,
you.
everybody.